Next up, a very familiar name to V3 Fight fans, going up against a guy we have not seen. Here comes Dinh Bates, the master from Memphis, Tennessee, and Rick Severa came out a different entrance from the locker room here at the Summit Center. There he is with Crystal Morrow, our cut girl. They'll be coached by Khalil Boyd and cornered by Luke Gardner. 5 wins, 3 losses for Dinh Bates, 5'9", 175-pounder. He's just 20 years of age. He's a Jeet Kune Do fighter. Tell us about that.
You know, Dinh Bates has not taken an easy fight since he stepped into the V3 cage. He's on a 2-fight losing streak, but when you look at his opponents that he fought, one was Trey Manley back in August, probably one of the most complete fighters, strikers we've ever had in our cage. And then to Brian Mitchell, the former lightweight champion who went up in weight to fight Dinh Bates. So Dinh has not taken an easy fight. He definitely doesn't have an easy one here. But the thing about Dinh is he'll go in there and he's not scared. He'll throw blows, and I'm excited to see him.
Jason, he'll put on a show. He's been terrific in the V3 Fight cage. He is a lot older than that age would indicate. Just 20 years of age, but he seems to know what to do. He knows that he is entertaining the fans, and that's why he won't turn down anybody. You give him an opponent, he'll say, tell me when, tell me where. And he's going to go up against Kevin Latrell, his nickname, or his alias, Jack Pine Savage. So Kevin Jack Pine Savage Latrell, who comes the way of Mma, Michigan. He's an independent fighter. He's coached by Ben Brewer, who we'll have in our main event tonight. Will be cornered by Ben and Jared Toth. But this is a 7-year Army vet, deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan, a 4-time state wrestling qualifier in Michigan. He is a perfect 10-0, 5'10", 171-pounders. We talk about the tail of the tape. 29 years of age, and this guy is a wrestler, and a good wrestler.
This is exciting. When you hear about a Michigan State wrestling placer, you should listen. Places that are cold tend to have extremely good wrestlers because there's nothing else to do outside but to get in that mat and wrestle. He's 10-0. He's perfect record, 10 amateur fights. He's working with a guy like Ben Brewer. We don't know a lot about him because he's not from here, but his record and his credentials speak a lot about his performance tonight.
Let's talk about the unified MMA rules.
So we've got some new rules that have been adopted under the unified rules. So let's talk about the rule changes. One of them now is the definition of a grounded fighter. Used to be a grounded fighter was simply someone that had 2 feet on the ground and they touched their finger on the mat. That was considered a grounded fighter, but a lot of people took advantage of that. So now in order to be a grounded fighter, you have to have both hands on the mat plus your feet, a knee down or on your butt. After we get to Mike Kelly, we're going to discuss the rest of these rule changes.
All right, here's the formal introduction of our 2 fighters in this V3 Fights welterweight division battle.
V3 Legion, this bout is brought to you by Fireball Whiskey. And it's ever 3-minute rounds in the welterweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He was the navy blue trunks with the white trim at 5 feet 9 inches. He weighed in at 175 pounds. A Jeet Kune Do fighter with an MMA record of 5 wins and 3 losses. Representing Rick Severa MMA and fighting out of Memphis, Tennessee, Dinh, the Master Bates. And across the cage, his adversary fighting out of the red corner. He wears the black trunks with the red, white, and blue trim at 5 feet 10 inches. He weighed in at 171.4 pounds. A wrestler with a perfect MMA record, 10 wins and no losses. Independently fighting out of Mma, Michigan, Kevin Jack Pine Savage Latrell.
And again, Clint Kolosinski, third man inside the cage. We'll continue with these unified rules in just a second. 3 rounds, 3-minute rounds. Let's see if this one will go the distance. Round 1, here we go on V3 Fights.
So some more rule changes we have is the extended fingers. You've seen it a lot with guys getting poked in the eye, and one of the things they're attributing to that, with a really nice front wizard throw by Latrell, but it's dangerous down here for him because we've seen Dinh Bates submit a lot of guys from this area with an arm bar. So Latrell's definitely got to watch out for that, and as we say it, there it goes right there.
Bates, he slipped to start things off, and then Latrell was able to get him to the ground. Again, Latrell is an amazing wrestler.
But Dinh is going to work for that arm, and he's got plenty of time. It only takes a second to get it extended, and get that submission.
Latrell rather trying to dislodge that arm. Right now, good job by Dinh Bates.
Latrell's putting a lot of pressure on Dinh, so Dinh can't extend that elbow. Looks like he's got it pulled out almost.
And here comes the big slam from Latrell. Now we'll go back to work with a little ground and pound. Bates covers up.
So another rule change here would be Dinh can actually use his heel to kick the kidneys of Latrell. It used to be that was illegal. Now striking the spine will still be illegal, but Dinh can use his heels to hit the kidneys. Now, it's not an extremely effective thing. What it really does is it makes a guy uncomfortable, move, change position so that you can work for something.
We mentioned earlier, again, here in Mississippi with the amateurs, elbows and knees to the face legal. As we see some elbows from Kevin Latrell. How tough is that for somebody like Bates, who fights a lot of times for us on V3 Fights in Memphis, and now he's in Mississippi?
Well, I believe this is Bates' first time to even fight in the state of Mississippi. But a lot of these guys, they say, I have that in my toolbox, I just can't use it in Tennessee. So now they're actually getting the opportunity to use it, and I think it's really to each guy's advantage.
Couple of big elbows right there to the forehead of Bates by Latrell.
Let's talk about scoring, how scoring is going to change under the unified rules. Used to be effective striking, grappling, aggression, cage control. They were all weighted equally. Now what they're doing is they want effective striking and grappling to be weighed equally. If one guy controls the grappling for 3 minutes, one guy controls the striking for 2 minutes, the guy with the grappling, he's going to win. Looks like Dinh actually got cut with that elbow.
Yes, huge cut. And Bates is bleeding profusely right now. Well, Latrell really launched himself on that elbow, too.
It puts a lot, and it's like a knife through butter. Those elbows on the forehead area, that thin skin, cuts through really quickly.
20 seconds to go in round number 1.
And speaking on that, one of the things that if the round is tied, if the striking, if the grappling all kind of looks similar, what they want you to do
Big
is
slam.
Go to impact, duration, and dominance. They want you to use those things to impact how you score that fight.
Well, let's talk further about that. A really good round for Latrell. He opened up Bates with the elbow. With the rule changes that you're talking about, we're now more apt to see from the judges 10-8.
And
so in the case right here, was that a 10-8?
That was a great
Ladies and
example of a
gentlemen,
10-8 round
welcome
because
V3 Cage
the
Girl
impact,
Haley.
the duration, and the dominance all went to Latrell. He controlled the fight from the initial takedown. He caused the damage, and he had the hardest hits, and you can see that from Dinh Bates right now. So I think this should be scored a 10-8 round if you're going off the new unified rules.
Crystal Morrow, the cut girl, out there working on the cut over Dinh Bates' eye. By the way, the physician and cage side tonight is Dr. Eric Garner. There you see Kevin Jack Pine Savage Latrell. Again, he's perfect at 10-0. And there you see that work that is being done on Dinh Bates. That cut is deep.
Cut.
Yeah, that is really
cut.
deep.
And it's in an area that's easy to cut open, right above the eyebrow. It's really thin, so we're going to have to watch that.
Well, you know Latrell's going to go right after it again in the second round if he can. I'm sure that's what his corner talked to him about with Ben Brewer and Jared Toth. But Latrell is a perfect 10-0. He wants to stay that way. And now Dinh Bates has to really go back to the drawing board here and see what he wants to do in the second round. Certainly doesn't want to be back in that precarious position that he was in during that first round. Round 2, here we go. No touching of the gloves by these two.
Dinh's going to want to keep it standing, throw some kicks, look for some strikes. He can strike with guys. He doesn't want to get in here with Latrell because last time Latrell just threw him to his back. There you see some nice knees. Remember, knees to the face are legal here for amateurs.
Absolutely. And they go back and forth with knees, but in the clinch here, both using their knees.
And just an FYI for the fans at home, these fighters are tested, their blood's tested. They get physicals before the fights, make sure they have no communicable diseases, so everything is safe and up on par.
Bates with another knee, but again, Latrell keeps coming. Doesn't seem to phase him.
But it only takes one. You get one knee to the right place, you get it to the liver, that's going to drop a guy.
Right now, Latrell wants to take it down, and right on cue, he does.
And he almost passed guard, but looks like Dinh's got him in a half guard, which really eliminates the risk of an arm bar here.
Not only that, also, I thought Bates in that first round, despite him taking a pummeling of elbows, did a good job in staying in guard.
Latrell going for a key lock here. Doesn't really have it in position
Yeah,
yet.
he slips out of it. And you see Bates wrapped around the back of Latrell. Latrell will try to rain some ground and pound, no question about it. He was able to do it successfully in that first round.
But now he's back in a position to where an armbar can get slipped in, so he's got to be really, really careful about that and keep some good posture. And as I say it, Dinh was going for it. He tried to slip his hips out when Latrell got high and went for the armbar, but he wasn't able to get it.
Bates is a very cerebral fighter, always thinking about the next move, and he's a dangerous fighter, as you mentioned, on his back. Some fighters are just, they're in trouble when they get to the back, but not Dinh Bates.
He caught Brian Mitchell in an armbar. Now it looks like he's going for a triangle choke.
Minute to go in the second round. Again, these are 3-minute rounds.
He doesn't quite have it locked in. Latrell's going to just slip out and pass. Now he's in side mount. Side control, where he can do some damage here.
He's going to try to get that. He's trying to get that right arm open where he could just rain down with those elbows like he did in the first round. But Dinh's doing a good job keeping him at bay.
Dinh keeps trying to get him back into his guard. You see he's got his foot on his hips. That's keeping him off balance, and it looks like he's going to try to go for that triangle choke again.
20 seconds.
But he doesn't have it tight enough. You've got to get your foot behind your other knee in order to get it tight enough. Pull down at your opponent's head, as he's trying to do right now, but not enough time to get this sunk in.
The final seconds here in round number 2. And this one will go to a third and decisive round. A little better for Bates, but again, Latrell doing what he wants to do. He had it on the ground. A little slow getting up, though. Maybe Latrell, who's in terrific condition, maybe a little spent from all the energy he worked up there in round number 2, so he'll take a seat. Meanwhile, Dinh Bates is standing on his side of the cage. There you see Kevin Latrell, who comes the way of Mio, Michigan. And it's great to have him on the card tonight. Of course, works with Ben Brewer, who is our headliner this evening, as he'll battle Grady Hurley in our main event. But right now, Dinh's got to realize that he's down maybe 3 points.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's really clear. He's got Khalil Boyd in his corner, who's fighting later tonight. I hope Khalil's telling him he's got to throw some strikes. He's got to keep Latrell away from him to prevent him from being taken down. He might think that he can get the armbar, but Latrell has been pretty good at defending it at a 10-0. He has a lot of experience. He's got to try to go for a knockout here.
We know the height that Bates can get with his kicks. It would be to his advantage right now because I figure Latrell's going to attack him, although he'll be very tactical in doing so, to try to get it on the ground. Maybe Bates can catch him. That's the hope, I would imagine, from the Bates corner. Round 3, here we go on V3Fights in this welterweight division battle, Dinh Bates and Kevin Latrell.
Either guy has a lot of foot movement. You see Latrell keeps switching stances.
Once again, Latrell gets him a little bit in the clinch. Got an elbow in. This is not the Bates
Latrell just
advantage.
going for another body lock.
Good knee right there.
Kind of extended himself, trying to go for a throw, didn't have it in, and ended up eating some knees because of it.
But he has willed his way throughout this fight. This is what he wants. You get him in a clinch, and obviously he can't get these kicks. He can get some knees, but he can't get the kicks in the height we talked about. And then eventually Latrell, I would imagine, try to get it back onto the ground.
And that camera angle provided by none other than Nick Dynamite Davis filling in for us tonight.
Good job by Nick. Maybe our producer, Mark King, will hire him full time.
We hope so.
Another knee by Bates.
So they're just kind of staying in a clinch. This is not where Dinh Bates wins this fight.
Right, exactly. Latrell looks a little tired, too. Bates sometimes plays possum, but I don't know if he is. He's a very strong guy, Latrell, and he's holding him at bay. Let's see if Bates can get away from him and then see what he can do. I think Latrell in his corner, they know right now he's in control, and now they go to the ground.
And just another nice takedown. All he did was get a body lock. He had 2 underhooks, got a body lock, pushed forward, and used a trip.
Got a half guard, it looks like.
Looks like he's in a half guard, so not a lot of danger from a submission on the bottom at this point. You only have a little over a minute left to go in the round and in the fight.
Well, I think right now, Latrell, as long as he doesn't get himself into trouble where Bates can pull off an arm bar of some sort, he's in total control of this. I don't know if Bates can get Latrell off him.
And, you know, there's not a lot of action going on right now, so you're going to look at Clint probably telling these guys, look, I need to see something or I'm going to stand you back up. Looks like Latrell's actually going for a choke on the bottom. So you hear some people saying, hey, stand him up, but they can't see what we can see with that choke from Latrell.
As long as there's an effort being made, the referee, in this case, Clint Kolosinski, will allow him to continue. Now under 40 seconds to go in this fight. Latrell a perfect 10-0, Bates 5-3 coming into action tonight. And really not much Dinh Bates can do. Latrell knows he has this thing. He's going to stay on him, throw a couple of punches, and let this clock wind down to 0.
But Dinh is still in a good position for an armbar, and Latrell's got to watch out for that.
But time is running out on Dinh Bates. Under 10 seconds to go in this third and decisive round. A round that has been a stalemate, but a fight that has been controlled by Kevin Latrell. And this one will go to the cards for the first time tonight. You'd have to think that Kevin Latrell is going to stay perfect.
I think he is. A pretty dominant fight. Love seeing these really good wrestlers come down here and showcase what they can do.
Again, we salute Kevin Latrell, 7-year Army vet, deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan, competed. Now you can explain to me what this is. Competed in the Combatives Level 2 qualification.
The Army's trying to get bigger on teaching guys how to fight because there's new ways that we are fighting wars. And the Combatives program is really effective. He's gotten a second level certification in it, which means he can actually instruct war fighters on how to take care of themselves hand to hand. It looks like it's paid off for him tonight.
We'll get the official word as soon as Michael Kelly gets the cards from the judges. Once again, the judges, Brandon Wilkinson, Jeff Presley, and Scotty Swanger. And now let's get the decision. Let's go to Michael Kelly.
Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for both of these warriors. What a fight! Well, after 3 rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecard for the decision. All 3 judges scoring this one 30-27. For your winner by unanimous decision, Kevin Jack Pine Savage Latrell.
Well, the decision went the way we all thought it would, but not a 10-8 in that first round. 30-27, all 10-9s by the judges. Now let's get a few words with our winner.
All right, we're here with your winner, 7-year Army vet, combat vet who's deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan. Let's make some noise for him. So to tell you the truth, you made that look pretty easy. What was your game plan coming in here?
I need to work on conditioning. I need a different game plan. No, that's my style, is to take him down and try and hit him.
Well, you hit him with a great throw. He drove all the way down from Michigan to be here for this fight, to put on a show for everybody. Who else do you want to thank?
Just my wife and kids at home. Thank you.
All right, here we go. 11-0, Kevin Latrell.
Very impressive win for Kevin Latrell from Mma, Michigan, as he wins decision over Dinh Bates. Next up, V3Fights lightweight division battle with Josiah Bradford and Noah Walt. We'll have it for you in just a moment.